Welcome to That 80s Show. Dori, remember the 1980s when ads didn't stalk you or listen to you? Remember those days?
Sure, hey?
What?
I can't actually, it's a vague memory where ads were just something that came onto TV while you were waiting for an Outrider or Magnum to come on, or MacGyver, and then you would make fun of the ads with your friends the next day, like, Morkel's, your 2-year guarantee store. That was ads.
Or in the center, Mr. Fenter, or it's not inside, it's on top, right?
Exactly.
And that was it. The ad was just there, and it didn't stalk your life. You could talk in front of the ad. You would go, oh, I really feel like a cheesy, what was this? What was it? The Center Mr. Fenter one. Oh, I really feel like one of those.
Steak melt? Cheesy steak melt?
Cheesy steak melt, right? And you would say to your family,
they don't exist anymore.
I really feel like one of those. And you wouldn't see it again until you went to the store. No, it wouldn't find its way to follow you around life. Like,
no.
Nowadays, what happens when I go, you know what, it's a Rugby World Cup, I've been drinking too much beer. I'm not going to drink too much beer in November. True as God.
Right.
Facebook ad, November beer box tasting box with delicious beers. Asking me.
Is this an antidote? Yes.
It's asking me to get ready to elevate my beer game with a hand-picked selection, multitudinous beers, Dori. Is it an antidote? Is it an antidote?
Is it an antidote to October? For those of you who did not drink during October this year?
No, it was literally an Oktoberfest.
Okay.
Literally one.
October, yes.
Is that a thing?
I barely drink, and I even drank this October.
Exactly. Now we're getting stalked by ads. Welcome to That 80s Show, your little safe space on the internet where we do talk about shit like Mr. Fenter ads and Morkel's, your 2-year guarantee store, and the one with the mice. Remember the Dulux ad with the mice where they're so cute? They draw the little hole and then they go inside. It's not inside, it's on top.
Ad with the dogs.
The mice didn't do it's not inside, it's on top. That was Cremora.
Oh, yeah.
Cremora.
I love that ad though. Oh, I love the Cremora. And I used to do the Cremora ad. I used to act it out.
Of course we did.
I am an only child, Paulo.
Yeah.
So I had to amuse myself in unique ways, okay? And I used to act out the Cremora ad for my parents, and they used to laugh themselves stupid.
That's good parenting.
And of course that encouraged my stupid behavior.
That's good parenting. I'm the parent of an only child. I encourage the stupid behavior. They must do these things.
Exactly.
Must create well-rounded solo children. So, Dori, the Matthew Perry death, right? It's quite weird because I've not seen people react to a celebrity's death quite like his. It's kind of like lingered. There's been no jokes.
Oh, yeah.
There's been no jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because normally you get that. It's very interesting. It's kind of like maybe the world's just grown up. Maybe we've just...
Well, I mean... We know cousin Louis has taken this very hard because Friends is probably one of the top 5 most important things to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. Big fan.
Big fan. And he's actually listening he finished listening to Andrew Ridgeley's book, and now he's currently listening to Matthew Perry's book. He's definitely using that Amazon Prime, Audible, free book offer. He's getting it all in his ears. So... I'm going, what can we do on the show and go look for some Matthew Perry content? Because, of course, he's more a 90s star. But I found him in some 80s sitcoms, Dori.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, of course. And, of course, he was in 80s sitcoms because we know what the Friends stars were doing in the 80s. We know Jennifer Aniston was in the spin-off of Ferris Bueller. Do you know that? Ferris Bueller's Day Off, one episode.
We discussed it.
Yes. Courtney Cox, she was Master of the Universe, Bruce Springsteen videos, tampon ads. She was megastar. Mega. We found Matt LeBlanc.
Was David Schwimmer in anything?
But I do remember us doing this a while ago. but they were around.
Yes.
But I found Matthew Perry.
Okay. Oh, Dave, wait. David Schwimmer, I'm going to remind you, was in the Wonder Years.
He was in the Wonder Years. He was Kevin's nerdy little friend.
With his long hair?
The glasses. Yes, I do remember that. He was on the Harley Davidson. He was a biker. He was riding a bike.
Yes.
Yes, that was it.
Yes.
That was it. How can we forget? And also, he was a Kardashian. He was the Kardashians' dad. But that wasn't in the 80s. I just thought I'd say that. I don't know why I said that. So I'm going to talk to you about some sitcoms that he was in. I'm not going to go in chronological. Oh, actually, it turns out it will be in chronological order. Now, we've got clips of all of these. You can find them, That 80 Show, SA, Facebook, like it, share it. Okay, so you can get ads of your own that stalk you because that's what the algorithms do. So the first place he pops up is in, I don't know why, or maybe it just wasn't me. This show wasn't huge here because it had all the tenets of a great 80s sitcom, very charismatic leading man. It had a family, families were huge in sitcoms in the 80s. You have a family, and you add in a fish out of water element and shenanigans. I think it was big, but not so huge here. Charles in Charge. It was never big here.
Yes.
Great theme tune.
No. Yes.
Charles in Charge of My Life and My Dreams, something like that. Great theme tune. So, Matthew...
Scott Baio.
Scott Baio.
Baio.
That guy, right? I don't know why it wasn't big here. But Matthew Perry pops up in it. And, it's great. IMDb's got the episode page. So you can even go onto it, Dori, click on there, and you can see images of him in Charles in Charge, 1986. And Lila, which was, I think, one of the... Because Charles in Charge, remember, Charles in Charge was a manny, wasn't he? He came in to look after a family. And that was kind of the weird thing in the 80s.
All I remember is him vacuuming with one of those old, big 80s vacuum cleaners. That's what I remember.
That's it. So that was the story. He was a manny. He looked after a family. That was the joke. This isn't a masculine job. That was the joke. We've done way better in Who's the Boss. But anyway, that's what he did. And Lila was the young girl that he looked after. And Lila is asked out on a date by a guy that her parents do not approve of. And she must decide whether to go on the date and betray the trust of her parents and Charles. Moral conundrum. But I'm confused because I haven't seen this episode. When you look at Matthew Perry in it, he's now a boyfriend of some sorts, but he does not look like someone parents would not approve of. He's wearing a lovely Argyle sweater.
I don't think he's the one they don't approve of.
Definitely not.
Because if you look through these pictures, there's a boy in a denim vest.
Acid washed denim vest.
Acid washed denim, sleeveless denim jacket. And a red bandana, which of course is a sign of danger. Of
course.
That is definitely the boy they don't approve of.
He's got headphones, Walkman headphones around his neck. I mean, he's just doesn't care.
Probably listening to the devil's music.
Probably Bon Jovi.
Definitely.
So, it's in the 80s. So Matthew Perry shows up in this, but he does not look like the boyfriend the parents do not approve of. He looks very much like a boyfriend parents would approve of. So I think it's the other Johnny Lawrence fake out lookalike guy that the parents don't approve of. So
we have to find this episode to find out.
I've got it. It's on.
Oh.
Yeah. Just keep an eye on the feed, that 80 Show SA Facebook page. Just keep an eye there. I'll pop it up there.
Okay.
Right, mystery will be solved.
Awesome.
Okay. I could have done more research, but why? Why do that? Right?
Why? You experience along with the rest of our fans.
Exactly.
Why should we be ahead?
It's a lived experience. Okay. Next up, he shows up 3 years later in You Loved This. Or You Loved, I'm sure you loved it. You loved this.
I did love it. I did.
Because you loved a young Kirk Cameron before. Why is Kirk Cameron crazy? What did he do? Cult stuff.
He's become a crazy Christian. Yeah,
he's doing cult stuff.
But like a bad, horrible Christian, not a good Christian.
Yeah, no, he's doing total cult stuff. But before the cult stuff, he was in a show called Growing Pains. Now, always, to this day, Family Matters, Growing Pains, I can't separate them in my head. I know they're different.
Family Ties?
Family Ties, sorry.
Matters?
Family Matters was
Ties.
Urkel. Family Matters was Urkel. Family Ties, Growing Pains, what was the difference? I know growing...
Dude, really?
No, I know they're different.
Michael J. Fox?
I know that, okay? Yeah. But what was the difference? Because I know that in Family Ties, they were all like quite, the parents were hippie, they were quite liberal, but I don't really know what was, did we need both? That's what I'm asking. Did we need both?
Well,
the networks needed both.
You had to be able to look at Kirk Cameron, Justine Bateman, and Michael J. Fox, and they couldn't all be siblings, those three.
Yeah.
We forget who the others are. We don't care.
No, they were fillers. They're irrelevant. Okay, also, of course, the late, great Alan Thicke was the dad in Growing Pains. Matthew Perry pops up. He
was great.
Matthew Perry pops up again in this as a boyfriend. Listen, he is getting typecast. Carol disobeys Maggie and Jason, her parents, by sneaking out to a bar with her college-age boyfriend, Sandy, a.k.a. Matthew Perry. She learns a valuable lesson when Sandy gets into an accident and ends up in the hospital. Yes.
There's even a scene. There's a photo of him lying in a hospital bed looking very smirky.
An ad for the show at that time. Special episode tonight. Carol learns that drinking and driving don't mix. You see, Sandy has got a drinking problem. He drinks. He drinks and drives.
Very PSA.
Oh, very much
PSA-ish.
So. Look, it says special episode, so it could have been a thing. And you know what the whole thing about this episode was? This is how I discovered. This is kind of why I went down this rabbit hole, because it was foreboding, because he drinks, he knows it's wrong for him, gets in an accident, won't change his ways. He did not learn his lesson. So an 80s sitcom.
Oh, no.
No, 80s sitcom, you don't do that. You learn your lesson. He didn't. He didn't learn his lesson.
So what happened?
Well, of course, the Growing Pains children, they learn their lesson. They go, we don't like Sandy. Yes. Get away from him. Okay, and
Sandy equals bad.
Sandy equals bad, and people are saying poignant because Matthew Perry, he had his addictions. He couldn't let them go, allegedly. Or he did, not allegedly. He admitted he had addictions. So that's not great, guys. Not great. Then he appears. Now, listen, we're just doing a little touch on the 90s, but it started in the 80s. I mean, I didn't even realize that the show ran into the 90s. Who's the boss? Did you even know it ran into the 90s?
Not a clue.
I didn't even know that. So this one now flights in November of 1990. And I don't even remember this. I don't even remember this happening. Tony agrees that Sam should move out of her noisy dorm. I don't even remember it going as deep as Samantha going into college. No. Okay.
I don't remember that.
No, I don't even.
Do you think there's a whole season we didn't get yet?
This is what I'm wondering, Dori. This is what I'm wondering. This is really what I'm wondering.
She was in high school when we finished.
And that's where it ended, because I feel that was the end point, because she went off to college, and then Angela Bauer said, well, we no longer need you to stay here anymore. And then that was kind of a natural endpoint. He got in his little blue van and left. I feel something's happened here. I feel something's happened.
Dude, imagine there's a whole season of Who's the Boss with grown-up Samantha that you have not yet seen.
Oh, Dori, whoa, hold on. Okay. Open a window, yeah. This is...
Okay.
Just hold on a second, yeah. Okay.
Just think about that for a second.
Okay. College age Samantha, a.k.a. Alyssa Milano. I'm on board. Where can I find it?
Right. The internet.
No, Dori, there's something. We've missed something here. We've missed something. Because she goes off to college. She goes off to college and she's staying in a noisy dorm. Tony Michelli, Tony Danza, she won't return home. So he says, okay, I'll tell you what. I accept that you're going to move into an absent professor's house with a student couple, Benjamin and Beth.
Yes.
Okay.
Benjamin played by Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry playing Benjamin. But Tony's even more shocked than Tony is Sam's boyfriend, Matt, when they find out that Beth dumped Benjamin, who's now attracted to Sam. So they move into the house, supposed to be fun. They're a couple. There's a couple there. break up Matthew Perry after Samantha. That's what it does. He always playing the boyfriend. Always playing the boyfriend.
Yeah, he is. The college boyfriend.
The college boyfriend who's a bit of a scamp, except for Charles in Charge. There he had a cardigan. Fun fact, Tony Danza and Matthew Perry then star in the film She's Out of Control. All wraps up.
What was he in that film?
He was...
I don't remember him.
I don't remember him
very much.
And
except for that scene of her coming down the stairs.
Alyssa Milano and Matthew Perry both appear in a movie, Dance Till Dawn. Ever heard of that movie?
No. Probably terrible, let's be honest.
Do you know, like one of those things? So firstly now, there's a lost season of Who's the Boss? The college years that we've missed out on. Okay, this involves further investigation. But more so, the movie that She's Out of Control. So in the movie She's Out of Control, Tony Danza, he's a dad. His daughter's, I think she's 16, and she's quite like his daddy's little girl. And then she goes through a beautification, and she's now the hottest
blossoming, a blossoming, as they called it.
A blossoming, right? And she's now suddenly the most beautiful girl in school. Boys are throwing themselves at her. He doesn't know how to handle it, right? Mm-hmm. For me, that's Who's the Boss. I think that his daughter in that is Alyssa Milano. I can't, like, even right now, you're talking about the scene when she comes down the stairs for her first date or for the prom or something.
Yes.
I see Alyssa Milano.
Is it not Alyssa Milano?
You see what I'm saying? You see
Hang
what
on.
I'm saying?
Hang on.
This is what, see?
Who is it then?
See? This
No, really? I'm having a moment.
This is what a perfect father-daughter duo they were, that you go, no, but surely that's just his daughter always. That's just his daughter always. His daughter was played by Catherine.
I'm having a Mandela effect.
Catherine
I'm having
Hicks.
a Mandela effect.
Daughter was played by Catherine Hicks. Oh, no, Catherine Hicks. No, I lied. Catherine Hicks played the mother. Who played the daughter? Not Alyssa Milano.
I'm looking.
Amy Dolenz. That name rings a bell. I think it was a lady named Amy Dolenz. That looks about right.
I'm looking.
Who, Amy Dolenz, was in the Ferris Bueller spin-off with Jennifer Aniston.
No. Stop it.
I'm telling you, this is all interconnecting. Yes, Amy Dolenz was his daughter in She's Out of Control, not Alyssa Milano, who was...
I've always seen Alyssa Milano in my head. Always.
And I'm telling you, you're not the only one. I'm telling you, so many people now have stopped and gone, no, but surely it's Alyssa Milano. That's what a great daddy-daughter duo they were. That's great, right? I'm even more fascinated by this rabbit hole. When last did you ever talk about... I think the last time we spoke about the Ferris Bueller TV show, the one episode, was ages ago. We mentioned it today in connection with Friends, linking them all in the 80s. Bang. They go together. They just go together.
Crazy.
I do remind you, we're an award-winning podcast. This is why. This is why. So, look, I have to take, a lot of things happened there. Alyssa Milano, college, missing season of Who's the Boss, got to find it. What happened?
As soon as we finish this show, I'm going to go watch the trailer for She's Out of Control to adjust my mental image, because in my mind it's always been Alyssa Milano.
And Dori, feedback to me. Wow. Maybe it is Alyssa Milano. Maybe I've reverse tricked myself.
Not.
Right, that's what I'm saying. For years, I cannot separate it's not Alyssa Milano. So one person from the 80s that doesn't pop up as much as he should is Boy George. Mm-hmm. Right? We don't get all that much from Boy George. He doesn't, right? He doesn't release new music. He doesn't do collabs.
But we've spoken about him, we've spoken about him quite a lot in the last couple of months.
Dori, who we speak about versus who is in the public eye are not the same thing. We speak about David Hasselhoff all the time. He's not done shit in ages.
Yes.
We constantly speak about Dolph Lundgren. What has he done? So it's not a correlation.
We are keeping Dolph Lundgren alive.
He isn't something new where he plays a washed-up 80s action star. I did see it in the trailer.
Kidding.
Yeah. So he isn't something new. But let's talk about Boy George,
Amazing.
right? So Boy George has
Okay.
a memoir out. Time for memoirs. What's the difference between a memoir and autobiography? We still don't know. So he's got a memoir out, right? And it is called Karma, of course. Right, it's called Karma.
Oh,
Okay. Remember his in Culture Club's great hit song, Karma Chameleon?
yes, I understand.
Do you remember that? Okay. He talks in this book, there's an excerpt here that I found, and it talks about a lot of growing up. Sounds like a difficult childhood. He was out from very early on. He said it wasn't a big thing. His family he had 2 brothers, dad. They were just kind of, okay, well, you're gay. They weren't super supportive of it. They didn't make a big deal out of it. They would tease him, call him names. He said kind of preparing him for like what he was getting at home, kind of prepared for anything out there. But then he's reminded about his time in jail, right?
Huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
We have covered this before.
I don't remember this.
We have covered this before.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
So
But I forgot.
he talks about his time in jail. Now, just to remind everyone, Boy George did spend some time in jail. 2009, he got convicted for wrongfully imprisoning somebody. Right? So you're like, wrongfully imprisoning somebody. What did he do? You remember the story as soon as I say it, Dori. He was with a model. They were having a liaison. It went awry, and Boy George handcuffed him to a radiator and hit him with a chain. You will remember this.
I remember this now.
Yes.
I do. It's coming back.
Wrongfully arrested because in a cocaine-fueled binge, he thought this model was stealing from him. So that's very expensive lawyers who get your conviction of hitting someone with a chain knocked down to wrongful arrest. Remember, you're not a policeman. Just think about what I've said there.
I know. So many mental images. Wow.
So many things happening. He did admit that he was on a cocaine-fueled binge. So anyway, he does go to jail.
Yes.
He does go to jail. He gets sentenced.
For how long?
He got sentenced for 18 months, right? He only served 4.
That's long?
He only served 4.
4?
Right, 4 months.
It's still quite long.
It is quite long. So he goes to the first jail. He goes to very jaily. He's like, okay, people see him.
Very jaily.
Very jaily.
Don't think that's a word.
No, because you get jaily, and then you get like celebrity jail. You get white collar crime jail.
Got it.
So very jaily.
Yes.
So he says, like, inmates hassling him, calling names, singing Karma Chameleon at him, calling him, just calling him names. This is the guards kind of like want his autograph. He said he never had a problem, but he just kind of kept to himself. He said it wasn't the best. And after 6 days in that very jaily jail, he gets taken to a prison that is in the middle of the countryside. So he's like, okay, this is now more not jaily. This is what I'm saying, the difference. But he said the difference there, he arrives there and they all start calling him Batty Boy. That becomes his name in jail.
Oh,
so
mean.
He's now getting constantly harassed because they know he's there on drug charges, keeps getting harassed by the other inmates. Do you have drugs? He gets his room searched. They're convinced he has drugs. He's Boy George because, well, of course you're going to get drugs in here. You're Boy George. You're going to get drugs. He kept himself, never caused any trouble. Had one inmate that said, if anyone here ever bothers you, you come straight to me. But he never had that. Keeps to himself, works in the kitchen, cleaning pots. He gets promoted to the head vegan chef in the kitchen. Of course, because, you got to be a cater for vegan. This is the UK. They're civilized. So they have...
even back then?
No.
Even then?
This is 2009. It's 2009, not that long ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why did I think this was the 90s?
I know, this is 2009. So he gets bumped up and he's the head vegetarian cook and he makes a quiche, right? And someone in the kitchen tastes it, goes, who the hell made this quiche? So he said, no, well, it was me. He goes, yeah, Batty Boy makes a pretty nice quiche, So he says, it's hard to be offended by someone when they're being so poetic. So he took it as a compliment. He did.
Can I just point out that a quiche is not vegan?
Because it's got eggs. Maybe it's a vegan.
Yes.
Maybe it's a vegan quiche.
Vegan quiche made with sawdust and tears.
Probably. Tofu? Can you do tofu? I don't know. I don't want to offend vegans.
Maybe. I've tried being a vegan. It's not
difficult. It's difficult.
By the way, the internet has told me what the difference between a memoir and an autobiography is.
Oh, great.
Would you like to know?
Yes.
Okay. A memoir is a non-fiction narrative in which the author shares their memories from a specific time period or reflects upon a string of themed occurrences throughout their life. An autobiography is a factual and historical account of one's entire life from beginning to end.
Thank you, Dori. We are learning.
Yeah.
We are learning.
I think there's a lot of gray areas in some of these things that are called memoirs or autobiographies.
I think that too. But we are learning. Yeah. We are getting better as people. Yes. So, Boy George.
Yeah, we are learning.
Well done. Well done. You've been using
Thank you.
Well done. So he gets out of
TV references.
He gets out of jail and carries on with his life. He ends up living next to Sam Smith. Him and Sam Smith neighbors.
Okay.
He goes, people assume that we'd be great friends because, there's similarities. He's always having these parties, never invites me. He said even if he did, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go to his parties. So we're different stages of our life. So he lives next door to Sam Smith. He got complimented on his shoes. Mick Jagger. That was a great moment for him. 1989, Mick Jagger complimented his shoes.
These all seem like random little things.
It's a memoir.
You're just a grumpy old man complaining about things. What is going on?
He does come across as that because, even in this story here, he was at the Sony Music Awards and Princess Margaret gets introduced to him. And she was heard to say, who's that Boy George? He looks like an over-made-up tart. I remember this is 80s Boy George. Gets called a tart by Princess Margaret. So he then goes and has T-shirts printed with Princess Margaret's face on it saying, I'm not a tart. He got the last laugh.
Okay.
He also talks about
So
petty, but I'm here for it. He even talks about going to an event with Princess Diana and his friend got drunk and kept falling asleep on her. And the friend got escorted out very, very quickly. But he said she was lovely.
Great story to tell.
He said she was lovely.
Yes.
He said she had no problem. It was her people had a problem. She was just fine with it. And that is Boy George. And also, Dori, you'll be very happy to hear that he is now heading to Broadway because he's taking a part in the Broadway of production of Moulin Rouge, which I know nothing about. It says he's playing a character called club owner Harold Zidler. So if you like Moulin Rouge, that may mean something to you. We like Boy George. So that just makes us happy that he's in the news.
I didn't get through the movie Moulin Rouge, not my vibe.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the play would be great. And that doesn't sound like a large role.
Okay, no, probably not.
But maybe he's in every scene. Who knows?
Listen, seeing what the diva is, do you want to offer him the large roles? So you offer him a small role because you get the publicity, but you don't have to deal with the diva.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so now you know. So, Dori, Movie Time, that 80s show, you told me you've got a fantastic movie. I am waiting for it. Let's go.
I actually thought that there is a small chance that we might have the same movie this week, but I don't know.
No.
Because, do we not? Because yours is not fantastic?
There is no way. There is no way we have the same movie.
Just a little background. My husband and I have been together since 1998. It's a long time.
It's a while, yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
25 years we have been together. And this week, he surprised the hell out of me by saying the following words to me. Oh my God, did you know that there's a Milli Vanilli documentary? We have to watch it.
Well done. That's well played. That is well played.
I was like, what? I would never have imagined that he was a Milli Vanilli fan. He constantly teases me about liking 80s stuff. He does not like 80s stuff. He goes from his favorite band is Pink Floyd, and he goes from that to like the 2000s. There's some 90s stuff thrown in. Very little 80s stuff.
Was that him throwing the 90s stuff in? That noise that's for effect.
That was my cup.
Well done, Dori, throwing the 90s things in.
Throwing the 90s things. I was like, what? Wait a minute. You're a Milli Vanilli fan? He was like, I love Milli Vanilli.
Whoa.
How has, in 25 years together, this has not come up as a discussion between us?
And you know, I have to say something. Dori's husband is very cool. He's very like edge. He's counterculture. He knows, he's just cool. And for him to like Milli Vanilli, that is a big thing.
Like, what? So we watched the Milli Vanilli documentary.
Amazing.
Which I'm assuming you haven't yet seen because you have not mentioned it.
I did not even realize that it was out for anywhere to be seen on the legal side of the internet. So I assume we must have hopped the border.
It is on Paramount if you have Paramount, but it is if you don't have Paramount, there are ways and means.
Okay. So tell me, Dori, listen, Milli Vanilli, we all know the story.
Yes.
It's a fantastic story. It's a tale as old as time. Boy meets girl, boy fall in love with girl, boy sings to a backing track and gets to, found out. That's everyone, it's classic. It's quite a boring story. So tell me. Dude. We know so much about it. What do they do differently?
So I thought, I know the story. We're just going to see it play out. And there is a lot of footage and photographs of people involved. But there was a lot I didn't know that came out in this documentary.
Really?
The documentary is very well made.
We've listened to podcasts about this.
And I'm going to say almost, it is almost as good as the Wham documentary.
Nice.
Not as good.
Nice.
But almost as good as the Wham documentary in terms of how it's been put together. Very well done. It's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking story. And at the same time, it'll shock you and it'll make you sad and it'll make you laugh. And it's a great watch. And yes, you think you might know the whole story, but there were things in there that surprised me. There's a woman in there who was very involved in the whole thing, and I have my doubts about her. She seemed to contradict herself. There were stories, so obviously we're only hearing the Fab's side of the story because Rob, as we know, is no longer with us. And actually watching, and my teenagers watching with us. And of course, of course, 80 stuff is very uncool to teenagers, but we start watching, and of course, there's all the pictures.
I blame that on the rain.
And then the picture, exactly. And the pictures come up of them, and of course, my kids looks at the picture of Rob and goes, "Oh my God, he's so beautiful. He's so beautiful."
I mean,
they literally was spellbound by him. And then we're seeing Fab, who has aged amazingly, by the way, brilliantly aged.
He's Fab.
Telling the story. He is Fab.
Yeah, he is Fab, yeah.
He's talking and he's telling the story. You can see it's he's gone a bit older and all that kind of stuff. And he's talking, and then my kid looks at me and goes, "Where's the other one?" And I just...
Awkward.
You know that moment where you have to say, the puppy had to go live on a farm. It was like that. It was like that moment where I was like... Just watch.
Even more awkward than that one of going when the kid realizes that there wasn't a farm, was there?
Exactly.
It's even worse.
Exactly. But yeah, so obviously you know what's coming, and it's very sad to see. That being said, I was surprised by... in all the stories and my memory of the whole story and everything that happened. And I mean, there's also, I told you, there's that podcast called Swindled. Mm-hmm. They did a little mini episode on the whole Milli Vanilli saga and the way they told the story. There's a couple of things that came across differently in this docu, in that Rob was very arrogant, extremely arrogant, and almost brought all the problems on himself in some ways.
Gorgeous though. I'm just
he got away with it because he would just look at you with those eyes and you would go, okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed how the fame really got to his head, and he kind of was very instrumental in it all spiraling out of control.
Look, it was probably the tight lycra pants. So I'm not really going to put it, because that would literally push the fame to his head. If the fame was evenly distributed, that squeezed it from the bottom like a toothpaste, fame to his head. okay, till it came out like a little Fame Aquafresh. Now, the thing, Dori, is that we've consumed a lot of Milli Vanilli content. What the narrative has come out over the past few years, you may remember, if you've not been on top of it, is a Milli Vanilli, they lip-synced, they faked, they got caught out for lip-syncing, which is like really industry standard. Taylor Swift does it. I know the Swifties are going to come after me.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift does it. It is industry standard, and somehow they took the fall for it, and everyone got off scot-free. What's come out over the years is that they were actually just two good-looking dumb idiots that decided to go along with this ploy, and everybody behind them kind of carried on with careers. The real Milli Vanilli, which are actually the fake Milli Vanilli, they're the scandalous ones in this whole situation because they try to like ambulance chase, right?
No, well, this is the thing. You've got to watch the docu. It's very much a he said, because they're all like blaming each other. And that's what I'm saying. There was this woman involved, and like she tells one side of the story, Fab tells the other side of the story. They completely contradict each other. You're like, which one's lying? Which one's telling the truth? Then the real Milli Vanilli guys are talking about how they were so like exploited and hard done by. And you're like, it's all a bit like, everyone blaming everyone else in a way, but it's interesting. Also, let me just quickly add, before we watch the documentary, my husband says to me, the reason I want to watch this so badly is they definitely did the same thing with Boney M. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, oh no, it's the same guy. Yeah. It's the same producer who did Boney M. And they definitely did the same thing. And I'm like, oh, there won't be anything in the doc about that. Well, I was wrong.
Yeah. Hold my Rasputin.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot about Boney M in the doggy. So even if you're not a Milli Vanilli fan, if you're a Boney M fan, definitely worth watching.
Because
my husband thinks this guy, by the way, the man who orchestrated all this, the big producer behind us all, is a genius.
Oh, and he's continued.
We're like, what a villain, right? We're like, whatever. Yeah, he's still around. Yeah. Nothing happened to him.
Nothing. You know, because the thing with Boney M is they were actually a rotating cast, is that they just kept swapping out members, and they did lip sync a lot, but they could actually sing.
But dude, the producer did a lot of the singing on Boney M. This little German redhead dude was the voice. Okay, sorry, big spoiler. Was the voice of Boney M.
Oh, I gotta go find this.
What the hell?
I gotta go find this.
There was a lot of mind-blowing stuff that you didn't know that gets revealed.
This is amazing stuff.
But wow. Also just like, wow, what a bunch of arseholes. And it's not as simple as they kind of convinced them, you're going to be rich and famous. Just let us do this. Well, this is the thing. Depends whose side of the story you believe. According to Fab, another spoiler alert, according to Fab, they were almost blackmailed into doing it. Like they were threatened because they got given this huge advance. They signed a contract that they didn't know what they were signing. They thought they were going to be actual musicians. They sign this contract. They get given this money. Of course, they spend the money because months go by before they can actually record anything. Then when it all turns out what's going to happen and they go, no, we want to sing. We don't want to do this. They were like, well, then pass back the money. And if you don't, you're finished.
We're taking your dreadlocks.
One side of the story.
Yeah.
But then the other side of the story is, no, of course that didn't happen. We never threatened them. So who do you believe? Who do you believe in the saga?
I believe the beautiful people. That's just the way the world works, Dori. I'm not even going to I'm not going to pretend.
Exactly.
So what's this one called? Milli Vanilli.
It's literally called Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. Because they are busy wrapping up the filming of the biopic called Girl, You Know It's True, where that's the that's the biopic, right? So it's they got two actors playing Robin, Fab, and kind of telling the whole story. That's apparently...
This is a proper documentary. This is a documentary.
No, I got to get all over that. So, this is the great thing that I think about 80s documentaries. It was the same thing with the Wham documentary. You mentioned it. Is that you think you know the story, but we don't know the story. No, what you know.
I still don't really know the story because, like I say, they all contradicted each other. But it's really interesting to watch. And just the eye candy is amazing.
Look, the cynic in me says a story like this, it's in no one's benefit to ever really get the true story out there. Because as long as there's mystery, as long as there's intrigue, they can keep revisiting it, right? So it's in no one's interest to get the true story out there. Dori, that's just fantastic. That's just fantastic. Milli Vanilli documentary.
I did tell you. And I thought maybe you would have discovered it as well and that you would also be doing it this week. But I was incorrect.
I knew it was out, or I knew it was coming out. I lost track of the dates. I've got to find it.
Me too.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. So we will be watching it. Milli Vanilli, the documentary. I am taking my movie. I'm going to do an 80s movie. I'm taking it back a couple of weeks where I was doing Halloween movies, and I did a Gene Wilder movie, and it wasn't a great movie, Haunted Honeymoon. So I said I'm going to do a better Gene Wilder movie, not starring Richard Pryor. So, when we spoke about it, we felt that they were always in movies together. They were.
Yes, and they had only done like two
in the 80s. They'd done a lot more either side of it. So it was only 2 in the 80s. Yeah. That's fixing my... We don't often do fact checks on the show, but when you do, I'll go back to it. So I remembered this movie more to be... I know why I remembered this movie when I watched it. Gene Wilder movie. He stars in it with his wife, Gilda Radner. She doesn't have a big part. You assume because his wife is going to be a big part. He directed it. He was the writer and he was the main star, Gene Wilder. And it was the first starring role of a very, very well-known name from the 80s, Kelly LeBrock, right?
Okay.
Now, Kelly LeBrock, if I need to remind you, was the lady that was created in the 1985 movie Weird Science. Remember, they make the perfect woman in a lab. She comes walking out, smoke everywhere, smoke in my body, smoking hot Kelly LeBrock. Now, she made this movie before that. This was her first movie. That was her big movie. She plays a model, and I'm just going to name the movie. The movie's called The Woman in Red. Does it ring a bell, Dori?
I was about to say, isn't this The Woman in Red?
Exactly, it is The Woman in Red. Not to be confused with Krista Berg's Lady in Red, although it is exactly the same thing.
Is it though?
I don't know. So, Gene Wilder's character is an advertising executive, very much back end of Mad Men days, right? And so he's 80s ad exec. Everyone's very highly egotistical, and he's got a wandering eye. And very weird when you see ad people in suits. I'm an ad person. I never see ad people in suits, only when they go to court. And he sees this woman in a red dress walking over a vent, Marilyn Monroe style, and her dress gets blown up. And he's like, now falls in love with her.
Very memorable that, yeah.
Looks at her little red satin panties, and he's like, I'm infatuated with this woman. But he's married, okay? So he can't get this woman out of his head. He's like, no, I'm infatuated. And now it's a whole bunch of shenanigans about him trying to bed this woman. There's mistaken identity because he thinks he's phoning her. He's actually phoning another woman who works with him, and she now falls in love with him. And then she gets upset because it's not him, and then she's trying to ruin his life. Just a series of shenanigans. He's got 3 friends who are grown men, yet they're always pulling pranks on everybody. Basically, this is a lot of grown-up men behaving badly. It's like they're just men in their 40s. They're just acting like absolute jerks, ignoring wives and breaking up with wives and being dickheads in public. Just actually terrible guys. You actually don't know who you like in this movie, because you don't want Gene Wilder to get Kelly LeBrock, because it's not a nice romantic story. He just wants to bonk her and cheat on his wife with her.
Yeah.
So you don't like...
He's not a hero.
Not at all.
No.
So you don't like him at all. You don't like his friends. I realize why I like this, because of Kelly LeBrock. And
yes, she's very pretty.
Yes. So I realized why.
And her dress flies up.
Her dress flies up. Like her. And it's, even though it's PG-13, you do get a quick full frontal shot of her. So that definitely stayed long in the memories for me, and that's why I remember that. He does eventually meet up with her, and they're now going to seal the deal. And she comes on to him. They undress. He stays in his shoes and socks. It's quite funny. And then her husband comes home. So she's also a little tartlet, right?
Yes.
And so she now pretends, oh no, I've been waiting for you. Gene Wilder jumps out the window, and as he's falling, plummeting to his death, he falls past a window and sees another woman through a window who now gives him a suggestive look. He goes, oh, now I'm in love with her. And then the movie just ends. So we don't know if he died. We don't know what happened to him.
Oh, he died. There was no sequel. He died.
He died. You care little for him. Cool thing about this movie, some cool things, some cool factoids. The soundtrack was one of the best things about this movie because it featured an Oscar-winning song for Best Original Song, I Just Called to Say I Love You by Stevie Wonder. I did not know that was done for a movie.
Huh. I don't remember that specifically. Yeah.
So he wrote this movie. He wrote the song for that movie. He scored most of the movie. And he writes the song for it. I Just Called to Say I Love You. Wins a Grammy. What did he win? He wins an Oscar for Best Original Song at the Oscars. He now gets awarded it. Congratulations, Stevie Wonder. Here's your Oscar.
Yeah.
He dedicates his award to Nelson Mandela, who's still in prison at the time.
Huh. Yeah.
The SABC subsequently bans all of his songs. Factoids.
Wow, that's actually a really good factoid.
So what
really is.
Gene Wilder movie led to the SABC banning all of Stevie Wonder's songs? And what
when you said you were going to do a Gene Wilder movie, I did not expect to hear the name Nelson Mandela come up.
Hey, that's
in this discussion.
Again, Dori, I cannot stress this enough. Award-winning podcast, music.
How long are you milking this? Just give me an ETA.
Till next year, when we either have to relinquish when we win again. So take that away with you. And of all the songs to get banned for, I Just Called to Say I Love You. Oh no, Bruder Bond. No, you can't. Banned. Stevie Wonder banned. But it's a lovely song. I Just Called to Say You're banned.
That is the title of the podcast.
I better write that down. I'm definitely forgetting.
You will.
So that's it. That's what we do here on That 80s Show. Dori's movie way better than mine. My movie, The Woman in Red, not The Lady in Red, not to be confused with I Just Called to Say.
I honestly don't know if I ever saw it. I remember the trailer for it. I remember seeing it in the video shop. I don't know if I ever actually watched it.
Yeah. No, don't. We got good documentaries to watch this week. Watch the Milli Vanilli one. Yeah, watch the Milli Vanilli one.
Yes.
So last week, what we didn't watch was the Hall of Fame induction. Apparently, it was on Disney Plus. I didn't watch it. And we're like, oh, we're not going to watch it because George Michael's not there. And that's just sad. Dori, did you hear that? You know what that is?
What is that?
Face palm. Face palm to you and I. Because George Michael won't be there. Of course, Andrew Ridgeley's going to be there. Andrew Ridgeley inducted George Michael into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay.
Of course.
Wearing a lovely grape-colored suit. I mean, he's always so dashing, Andrew Ridgeley. We speak about this constantly.
Always.
His suit game is flawless. Absolutely flawless.
Is there footage on the internet of this that I can find?
The whole induction.
Okay.
Again, That 80 Show essay. Follow it. Share it. Everything will be on there.
I will wait in anticipation.
He inducts George in. Lovely speech, as always. He loves George. I mean, really, this is the bromance to end all bromances. To call it a bromance is to actually underplay their relationship. But of course, he's a scamp. He does love making a joke. And they talk to him about any regrets that he's had in his career. And he says, I do regret the shorts we wore in those days, especially the shorts we wore.
No.
He does regret it.
Don't regret them. No, don't regret.
He says,
remember fondly.
They said,
do not regret.
They said, did you have any concerns about it? He said, no, look, of course we did. People may think that things may have revealed themselves. He's a gentleman, he doesn't say crude things, but we were definitely well secured. And everyone was wearing shorts like that at the time. Björn, Borg, John McEnroe. We were just...
Exactly.
Everyone was doing the little shorts. So that's Andrew Ridgeley playing both sides of his character, Dori. Serious, inducting a person into a Hall of Fame. Jokes. What's the difference between a memoir and an autobiography? Autobiography is true. Memoir is your kind of interpretation of it, right?
Well, I mean, it was like about, I guess your experience, your perspective of a time in your life.
Okay.
Whereas the autobiography is, I was born on this day, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. But like I say, I don't agree with that entirely.
No, neither do I.
Those that I have read.
Because, again, I'm going to bring you The Gift That Keeps on Giving, John Stamos' memoir. Okay.
Again, oh my God, how many weeks are we going to talk about John Stamos? I mean, I like him, but dude, come on.
We've spoken about him last week. You spoke about Demi Moore not remembering if they slept together. Probably the best story I've told this year of John Stamos, very young, in love with a actress called Terry Copley. She says they broke up and then has an affair with Tony Danza.
Was it like an affair? Was it like a one or two time thing? They didn't actually date. Do we have clarity on that?
Terry Copley has spoken.
Right.
Terry Copley has spoken.
Yes.
She has revealed. She posted a very weird video. It's kind of like one step down from a hostage video. Okay.
Damn, I need to see this video.
That Eddie Show, say Facebook page. She's in like it's shot very soft focus. Now I can understand she's older, maybe doesn't want the harsh 4K glare on her. She's standing in front of like a fireplace with a mantelpiece, very decorative, very lovely. She obviously invested well. And she's standing in front of like a Perspex plinth, her voice not sounding at all like you'd expect it to sound. So the story goes, John Stamos says he had enough with her. He tries to go to her house. She's in bed with somebody else that somebody else turns out to be Tony Danza, right? Terry Copley always denied this. She said, this never happened. This was not the story. We were on a break. She says the true story is, okay, prior to meeting John Stamos, I dated Tony Danza for about a year and a half. We broke up. How her and John Stamos met was that she had a hairdresser who was doing John Stamos' hair on General Hospital. And that's how they got introduced.
I mean, can we just say that the man who did, or woman who did John Stamos' hair, genius.
He had everything. He had bouffant, he had mullet, he had it all.
All of it.
So they dated, went well, she really loved him. She gets a phone call the one day. She gets a phone call. The person on the phone says, I know that you love John, but don't plan on marrying him because he has no intention of marrying you. What a terrible phone call to get when you're dating John Stamos. That call came from John Stamos' mother. Yeah.
Scandal.
Yeah. So she breaks up with him. She says, okay, well, no intention. Your mother told me. And of course, now they have different versions of events. Who do we believe again? Always trust the beautiful person, Dori. John Stamos is telling the truth.
It is. They're both beautiful, though. Problem.
He's currently more beautiful than her.
He is more beautiful. I agree.
Yeah. And possibly always. Listen, in this article, I got to tell you, there are some lovely photos of Tony Danza in his pomp. I'm definitely having a one-night stand at least with Tony Danza if I'm dating John Stamos. So that hair is also good hair. So that's basically it. They met over hair. Mother phone says he's not marrying you. Forget about it.
Wow.
And I think she's in heaven. I think she sent this video from heaven. That is very heavenly.
So weird.
It is very, very odd. It is very, very odd.
It's actually true that the 80s stars are now at that age, where they're going to be doing really weird old people shit. It's going to just get better and better.
We're going to win year after year after year after year because you're right. They're just going to get crazier and stop giving a shit what they say and start saying things that they shouldn't. And we will be there to, if not document, make up many things of what they said.
All eyes on Boy George. All eyes.
That's a good one. Yes. What's happening in Moulin Rouge, Boy George? What's happening? Just before we go, you would have found in your feed 2 podcasts this week, okay? If you subscribe, there's 2 podcasts in there. If you haven't listened to the other one and you grew up in South Africa in the 80s and 90s, we got to meet somebody who is, of everyone we ever interviewed, Dori, people got so excited over this one.
I know.
Beat Boy hit that perfect Beat Boy. We spoke to Dr. Phil Joffe, one of the hosts, or the main host. He was the guy on Body Beat, the exercise program that woke us all up Monday to Friday on Good Morning South Africa. All right.
And boy, did we get stories.
Man, I mean, you got to listen to the podcast when you tease some of the stuff. He tells us how Body Beat got made. He clears up some confusion for us because we were like, but there was a blonde guy. And he explains where the blonde guy came from. He explains what that was about. He talks about the producer of Body Beat. And just
who's OMG? OMG.
Just very casually goes, oh yeah, and you know, he was friends with Liberace and Marilyn Monroe. Well, whoa. What are you talking about? So he talks about the brains. He was the body behind. No, he's also the brains behind Body Beat, but very intricate.
Yes.
I mean, like we say, it wasn't just all lycra and hairspray and doing some jumping jacks. It was proper workouts, very well thought out, great produced show, and absolute production. Absolute production.
And groundbreaking in its time within the South African apartheid system.
Yeah. 100%.
Let's not forget.
100%.
Yes.
All that you're going to find, That 80 Show, where you got this one, but just check out That 80 Show SA meets Dr. Phil Joffe from Body Beat. I want to play you a little piece because, Dori, I've said a lot of weird things on this show. I've said a lot of odd phrases. Things just pop in my head, I say it. But Dr. Phil Joffe from Body Beat said something. Oh, can I give the spoiler about the song? Can I give it? Should I?
Yes. Do it.
Okay, I'm going to give it. So, Body Beat, we remember the song. Beat Boy, get your body beat boy. A song by Bronski Beat. He has it as his ringtone. That is his ringtone.
To this day.
And
I'm not going to give a spoiler. I'm not going to give a spoiler about how old he is and the fact that he is still teaching exercise classes.
Yeah, still going.
You just got to listen to it. You got to listen to it.
You got to listen. Oh, my word. Him having the Bronski Beat, Body Beat theme song as his ringtone is like hearing David Hasselhoff has Knight Rider as his theme song.
Exactly.
Which I bet he does, by the way.
He probably does. I was just about to say he probably does.
Rotate between Baywatch and do-do-do-do-do. Dung, right between the two. So back to my point. I say a lot of weird things, but this phrase that he talks about has never been said by anyone. He's talking about the girls because he would often do his routine in front of a bevy of beautiful babes behind him, doing the same routine. And he talks a little bit about that in this clip.
Whenever we knew we were going to a particular community, a particular town or city, we would always arrive the day before, and we'd set up an invitation, get hold of all the gyms and say, look, come along and we'll select, the best people. So we constantly used locals, which was very nice. What I would do in the old days, remember we had the VHF, those huge tapes. I would set the machine at home so that when I came back, I could see what were the girls like in Uppington, what did they look like, that, and then we would be able to say, look, the next time we go there, let's get hold of these particular people, because they, in a sense, they proved themselves. Wally Green was wonderful. He said there was always in every group we had a Dori Dom D. Now, Dora, when I said, I have to give instructions because my back is to the girls while I'm moving and talking, doing the whole thing. I would say, now let's all move to the left. And Dora would go jogging off to the right. So she'd always be very surprised when the programs were transmitted. And she said, I couldn't see myself anywhere, because he edited her out.
That is just some of the amazing content that you're going to get. When That 80 Show met
so great.
Dr. Phil Joffe. Just so great. So much fun. What a nice guy. What a great show, Dori. Once again. So many things. Always keep an eye on Boy George. He's going to do something scandalous. I feel it in my bones.
He's probably doing it as we speak. He's doing it as we speak.
It'll be on tomorrow. As we finish recording. Too late for us to add to the show. Everything we talk about on the show, you can find that 80s Show essay on Facebook. All of Matthew Perry showing up in your favorite 80s sitcoms. Terry Copley's side of the story. A little video message from heaven. And Andrew Ridgeley's acceptance speech from the George Michael induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thanks for joining me, Dori Dom D. Goodbye.
Oh, no.